welcome to another day in the neighborhood. How you doing back there, Johnny?
Doing well, thank you.
Oh, thank you. You sound like a professor today. So anyways, this is going to be a fun day today because I told John that we were going to be talking about some sex, and he told me he better stay in the back room to be good. So today my guest is Ms. Tamara Rose Campbell. And she has a new book called Live Inspired, Feel Empowered. I'm sure a lot of people have it, and if they don't, they should get it. We're going to touch on a lot of little things in here because I read the book, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
But my thing was I was so excited, I think I read it too soon. So some things I've forgotten, but, I highlighted a lot of stuff. And you also work with HIV and AIDS, yes. So we want to talk a little bit about that. And then you have an event coming up that we just mentioned, and so I think we should just throw that out there too.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. So now, you call this L.I.F E.
Yes.
Live Inspired, Feel Empowered. So tell me, what was the premise for you writing this book? Because it seemed like you wrote this awful fast.
Okay. You know what? Actually, Live Inspired, Feel Empowered, my gosh, it came to me years ago, and it actually took me, I'll say, a few years to write it, because when I initially started writing the book, it wasn't even entitled Live Inspired, Feel Empowered. It was actually called Empowered Consciousness.
Okay.
And so I wanted to write the book based on the story, my life story, and I wanted to help other women know that if they're in an unhealthy relationship, you don't have to stay in the unhealthy relationship, and I wanted to give them some tools and some activities that they can actually use to get out of that relationship. Mm-hmm. And so that's pretty much what inspired me to write the book. It was a way of healing for me. It was a way of growth for me. And so one day I was just writing the book, and the word life came to me, like, Tamara, what are you doing? You're living your life. You're becoming empowered. You're inspired. And so I played on the word life as an acronym for live inspired, feel empowered. And like I said, it took me a while to write it. I actually wrote it years ago. Like I said, probably finished in 2008. And so I read it over, and I said, nah, because I was in a rush to publish it. I wanted to get something out there. I wanted to publish it, but it just didn't feel right.
Right.
And so, like I said, the title was something different. So then a new title came to me. I went through about 4 or 5 different cover designs, and so when I finally got to the Live Inspired, Feel Empowered title, I said, okay, this is it. And I let a friend of mine read it, and he was like, yeah, it's okay, it's good, but you're not really telling your story. He was like, you really need to tell your story so people can really understand what you went through. And I'm like, I gotta tell my story? Really? That's what I need to do for this?
Right.
And so finally, it took me a while because I had to relive all those painful memories. And then it's like, do you want people all up in your business like that? You know?
That's what, when I was reading it, that's what I was thinking too, is like, it's brave to put it out there, but it's kind of scary at the same time, because you don't know what kind of feedback. Does anybody think differently about you now that they've seen, what happened, or can they just understand it, and, does it help people when they read it to say, well, she was brave enough to put this in print?
Yeah, and I think about that, but I also know that God gave me that story not to keep it to myself, but to share with other people. And so when I approach it from that standpoint, I feel blessed because the feedback that I've been receiving is overwhelming. I mean, so many people have told me how they're ready to live their life and how it's helped them and things like that. I wasn't really looking for people to feel sorry for me or for anybody to, say, oh, you've been through this, or, give me any kudos or accolades. I just really wanted to help women and empower women because that's my life's work.
Right. Well, I thought it was inspiring because, like I said, and it's kind of funny because when I was reading basically your story, like, with your divorce and, how all that happened and then how you left and everything, I said I could just see myself in it because I went through a lot of that when I decided to get a divorce. Okay. It was just like years earlier, something told me that, you got to start getting things lined up now because I know this is not going to get any better.
Right.
And when I started making my moves, I lined up everything like 7 years early.
Okay.
And when I decided to make the move, everything fell into place like within a month. I got a job, I got an apartment. I mean, I was just like, what? I was able to just sell everything out the house and be gone. And I thought, this is like part of my story right here. So I hope a lot of people can read that, because that's the way I felt. I was just like, wow, this is a lot of people that have been through this.
Yes.
And, you know, you have to be brave to put it out there.
Yes, thank you. And I'm very humbled that you were able to find yourself within the pages of Live Inspired, Feel Empowered. And that's what I hope, that when people read this story, although it's my story, it's so many other women's story. And I think that, you know, a lot of women will be able to, and even men, some men have read the book and have said it's helped them too. So,
well, that's a wonder. Now, when you wrote the book, and like when you talk about your husband or ex-husband, everything, did you have to talk to him to say, you know, I'm writing this? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Did he get all about it?
You know, I haven't talked to him in years. He's living his life, and hopefully,
L.I.F.E.
right? Hopefully, you know, it's a beautiful one. I know that he, you know, he was a good man. He just wasn't the man for me.
Right.
And I didn't feel like I needed to talk to him about writing this book because this is my story. Right. And I felt like it's my story and I can share my story. So, you know, I don't even know if he's aware that there's a book that exists. But I will say, if you read the book, there is a poem in there that's called I Became Your Wife. He does know about that because I actually wrote that when we were still together. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I wrote it.
You know, that's one of the things that I admire too, is that you was able to put in those poems, because like this could be sort of like an autobio in a sense, you know, or a partial autobio, and that's where my book is supposed to be. But you know, I'm trying to tell my life story of, you know, being a polio survivor, survived divorce, you know, all this marriage thing, and I'm still on top. And then when you have, like, when you left, did he say stuff like, and this is just like, my ex will say stuff to me like, well, you're not going to ever have anything without me.
Yeah, of course.
You know? And my line would be, I was single longer than I was married.
Right.
So I know what I need to do. Exactly. I mean, it's not like I was married to you 100 years. You took care of everything, and now I'm out on my own, and I don't know what to do.
Exactly. Right, yeah.
See, when men wish you bad luck like that, this kind of stuff just makes it all better.
It does. You know, he actually was so smug that he didn't think that I was leaving. Yeah. You know, and I never told him. I told him one time that I was leaving him, and he didn't believe it then, and I never told him again because I wanted to be sure. Right. That's the one thing my dad told me throughout my whole entire process. He said, Tamara, you know, don't tell this man you're leaving until you're sure that you're leaving. Don't leave until you know that you're not going back. Because if you do, then your life will be the same and much worse, and you'll never get the respect that you deserve in a relationship. And so I never, like I told him that one time that I was leaving, and you know, never, you know, threw it up in his face, because actually from the time I told him that I was leaving until I actually left was probably 6 months, because I was sure I had, like you said, you had everything in a row. I had everything in a row, and I will never forget the day, December 21st. I walked into that apartment, and it was just such a sense of peace that was so profound and unparalleled. It was just unimaginable, and it was just awesome. Yeah,
that's the way I felt too. It was like, when you said, you know, you put your friends before your family, everything, you know, that was right in my line. It was like every time there was an argument, it would be about his friends. So his friends came first. Me and your son didn't matter. If they say jump up in the middle of the night and come roll with us, he jumping up in the middle of the night and rolling with them. And then when I left, you know, you come home to an empty house. Now what? Right. You gonna cry like a baby. Oh yeah. And I just thought, oh my God, this is the great book. And I read it. I was just like, oh, and I was sitting there going, oh my gosh, I did that.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Yes. And then when I got back to, like, it's a lot of stuff in here that's kind of deep for me, because I'm probably just like a airhead rebel sometimes. Oh, no. You know, and I say that to myself because, you know, that's what I can say to myself. Right. But, you know, when you have, like, the principles of consciousness, I never heard of that before. So to me, that was empowering, you know, self-acceptance, character, physical beauty. And that's one of the things that a lot of people, women, miss, because the men have beat them down so much. And they never get it back. Like, if they started beautiful and then the husband or boyfriend get in their heads, then all of a sudden, you know, they're not beautiful anymore. I mean, how do you get people to live by these 5 principles after they've been in such a bad relationship?
You know, it's so difficult. I know for me, it was a lot of prayer. There was some, you know, therapy in there as well. But then like I tell people, you have to be willing to do the work.
Right.
You know, like the saying goes, you can lead a horse to water all you
Can't
want to,
make
but
it
you
to drink.
can't make it drink.
Right.
So in other words, you know, you have to be willing to do the work. You have to really be ready to step out on faith and take some action before you can see any movement in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, I had to really push myself. There were some days that I didn't feel like getting out of bed, but I had to, because I knew I
Right.
had to live.
Right.
I wanted to be a better person. I wanted to be the woman that I was before, but even better.
Right.
You know, like Tamara 2.0.
Right, right. Because they always think, you know, you'll never get anybody better than me, or you'll never do good without me, and that kind of stuff just made me laugh. I just, you know, when I hear that from people, I just laugh, because it's like, how can you say that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're the one who, you know, never paid a bill.
Right. Right.
But, you know, it's like, I don't understand it. But when I read those, it's like they're in order, like self-acceptance,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I think that's part of the self-esteem issue that a lot of people have, either men or women.
Right.
But do you think it's more frequent for women to have that, or have you had any feedback with men saying, you know, well, I used to be like this until I met her, and
I think it goes both ways, but I think the difference is that women, we show it more so than men, because we how we've been socialized. Men are, you know, all about being macho. They have an image to maintain in society, because that's just how boys are raised from the time they're little. You know, don't cry.
Don't
when
cry.
a little girl falls, oh, my poor baby, let's pick her up and cuddle her.
Right.
You know, so I think that both men and women have self-esteem issues, but women just tend to show it more because we're more emotional creatures. And I do think that, you know, one of the major things in moving forward in any situation is that self-acceptance. That's why it's listed first, because you have to love yourself. You have to forgive yourself.
Right, right.
And not just yourself, and you forgive others too who've hurt you. And you're not forgiving them for them.
Right.
You're forgiving them for you, and giving yourself permission to move forward and begin to heal and begin to grow.
Because it's a hard thing to forgive somebody that's really done you bad.
Oh, it is.
It's
Absolutely.
hard, and it's not something you can just do overnight.
Right.
And I think it wears you down when you're trying so hard to just be like, okay, I'm gonna forget about it. But then in the back of your mind, you're going, but
Yeah.
you know.
But you know what? I think it does wear you down, but I think it wears you down to hold on to it more. Because the more you hold on to it, the more you start to stress yourself out. You're getting angry because you're constantly thinking about what this person has done to me. And then what happens is it starts to manifest itself physically. You know, so you start getting sick. You know, your back start hurting, you're stressed out, your immune system is weaker, making you more susceptible to illnesses.
Right.
So, you know, that's why you have to let it go. You know.
I was looking at a show the other day, and this girl had gained like 150 pounds because of stuff like that from her ex-husband, boyfriend, whatever. And that's part of the physical, because now she's saying, I don't deserve this, or I don't deserve that, look at me. And then when they took her through boot camp and she dropped all that weight, I mean, it showed in her face, her attitude and everything came back.
Yeah.
Because that person was still there, she was just hidden. And it's just hard.
It's hard.
It's hard.
But it's a journey, and it's a process. And but I also want people to understand that, you know, along this journey, you have to be forgiving. You have to love yourself, and you have to push through. And if you make some steps back, that's okay. Start over the next day and move forward. You know, take tiny steps until you can run. You know, until you can, and then from there you can continue on. You know, so it's just a process, and that's what people have to realize. Change is difficult. But it's not going to occur overnight, but you can change and you can sustain it if you're willing to step out on faith.
Yeah, and so many people are resistant to change in everyday life.
Oh,
it's like, I've been wearing my hair like this for 50 years. No, I got to change it. And that's a relationship. You know, if you've been married 100 years and your man leave you for the neighbor's 14-year-old daughter. You know, now what? You know, so. Now the other thing in here, what was this? This is the chapter, the principle 2. This is the self-esteem, and when you have the actions and the movements and the activities. Now, how do you come up with that? Because, like I said, when I'm reading this stuff, I'm like, man, she is deep.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I'm just like getting well educated in this little book. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this book. You realize how much stuff is compact in this little book.
You know,
now I got other books to read that's like this, and I'm dreading it. But this one, I was like, I mean, it just holds your attention. You just be like, whoo, what's next? What's next?
That is awesome. I am so humbled. You know, I wish I could honestly say that this was my work. I mean, it is my work, but it was just God. I mean, He put the words in my spirit to write, and I just wrote as He guided me. And again, I just really looked at my experience and my journey, what I went through, and the things that I did to help me move through my experience. And I just wrote it down, and I just wrote, and I just wrote.
And you wrote like that for a couple of years before you could actually put it. Because I've never, read a book, that's laid out like this, because usually when it's like a self-help book, and I'm a fiction reader,
Okay, yeah.
So I mean, I usually don't read stuff like this, but then once you read it and you see what another person has done and how they came out of it, you bound to find something in there about you that can help you change for the better, because I think we all got a couple flaws here and there, and you want to do something with them, but you just don't know how.
Right.
So here comes Miss Tamara Rose. She gonna show you how it's done.
Yeah, I'm trying.
And with the, like I said, with the actions and movements and, stuff like that, I'm like, these words normally don't mean anything to me, but when you put them in context like this, then you did a few quotes of different things in here, and I thought, this is well put together.
Thank you.
I hope my book comes out as good.
Of course it will. Of course it
this
will.
Auto-bio thing, I'm like, I don't know. I've been trying to write it forever. Now, and one of the other things in here too is, you speak about sexually confident and loyal, being considerate, Sometimes when you're in relationships, sex plays a big part where people want to withhold it.
Yeah.
What do you think about that crap?
I don't think sex should be used as a weapon.
It's like your kids, when they use your kids against you.
Right. I just don't think it should be, because, again, it can cause the demise of a relationship. So I think that sex is something that, is natural. It should be shared, and it should be enjoyed. It's for pleasure. It is for procreation, but it's also for pleasure. And I don't think that it should be used against your significant other, whether it's male or female, as a weapon.
Right. Because, sexually confident women are not afraid to give herself permission to discover, explore, and unleash her sexuality.
Absolutely. That's right.
You got an explanation point on that one.
That's right. Absolutely.
John, where the fan at?
We got the remote control over there.
Oh, that's right. Oh, so now how does, when you say loyal, what does loyal, how does that fit into here? And grateful, seem like when you say grateful, being grateful what is happening in your life is a powerful energy that will move mountains.
I think that we sometimes forget that things are given to us, and we sometimes take those things for granted just by the fact that we woke up this morning. We didn't have to.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of times we go through life and we don't appreciate things, and we aren't grateful for the things that we have, and as a result we just live life on a daily basis, and we just coast through life. We're not active participants in life.
Right.
And I think when we're grateful, it helps us to understand that these things that come to us, they don't have to, and it makes us more appreciative. And when we're more appreciative, we tend to experience more blessings. And I think in terms of being loyal, first you have to be loyal to yourself. You have to understand what loyalty is to yourself before you can be loyal to anybody else. And I think oftentimes as women, we give so much of ourselves away because we are so many things to other people. We're a wife, we're a mother, we're a daughter, we're a teacher, we're a lawyer, we're this, we're that. But before all of that, we're women, and we get so far away from who we are as women that we just split, like that whole thing. I'm a superwoman. You don't have to be a superwoman.
Right.
Just be yourself and love yourself first, and be whole and happy who you are, and then you can give all of that to other people.
Yeah. When I was looking at Iyanla Vanzant, it was the same thing. It was like she had a show the other day where the wife was like helping everybody and had lost herself in like a 35-year marriage. But when like the husband brought his family to live in the house, his like 7 other family members without even consulting her, and she got mad about it, then they got mad at her for getting mad at, and I thought, that's disrespectful. And there's no loyalty there, because she should have been talked to first.
Right.
And that's what she was trying to tell him, that, you can't just bring people over your family like that. And so many people do that. Like you say, that's divorce.
But you know what? Sometimes the problem lies with us first because we allow things that we should not allow. You know, another thing that I was taught, you know, my mother always told me, you start things as you mean for them to go. So if you didn't mean to be all those things to other people and expend all that energy, then don't start doing it in the beginning, because that's what people are going to expect of you. And then that's where the whole empowerment thing comes in terms of being able to communicate, you know, this is unacceptable behavior to me. You need to consult with me before you make any major decisions. But so oftentimes in relationships we just give up, we get comfortable, we get used to it, and you get comfortable in the midst of your mess and nothing changes.
And next thing you know, it's like, what happened? I got 13 people in my house, I can't get out.
And now you're unhappy, you're resentful, and you're bitter.
And like I said, they were married 35 years, and then all of a sudden she was like ready to walk, and he was sitting there like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
You know.
Oh, that kind of stuff bothers me. That's like the prelude to domestic violence to me, because once you start getting antsy, you know, okay, now you start drinking or whatever to ease that pain, to just don't think of stuff, and next thing you know, people are fighting. And you got kids, you know, you got all this going on. That's why they all need empowerment. I'm gonna give them all a book, one of these copies, you know. Read it. Okay, let me see. We did the principle, the physical beauty. Now, with physical beauty, what do you think about, how would you help a person like get that mental beauty within? Because so many people are worried about their outward appearance, which is what people judge first, but they let that overpower them instead of thinking, well, I'm beautiful, you know, like at a bald head. Who doesn't like it? Don't care. So how do you tell a person that, you know, it's okay to?
I think it all goes back to self-acceptance and loving yourself where you are at that given moment in time, and understanding that as human beings we're all flawed, and just learning to accept who you are and embrace who you are and celebrate that. And then knowing that within that, if there's something that you don't like about yourself, you can work on it and learn to change it until you are happy with it. And then when I talk about physical beauty in that book, I'm not talking about the typical stereotypical image of physical beauty, what society wants us to believe, but being beautiful mind, body, spirit, and soul. When you're beautiful mind, body, spirit, and soul, that will manifest itself physically. And like you said, you won't begin to care about what others think about you, because you feel that you're beautiful, and your beauty will resonate, you know, around you and start to change your environment. So when I talk about physical beauty, I'm talking about really like, are you wearing clothes that are appropriate for your body type? You know, for example, with my fitness class, I always tell ladies in the class, don't try to look like me, because you can't, because you are you, and you have to celebrate you for who you are and where you are and how you look, because we all have different body types and different body structures, whereas I might be losing pounds, you might lose inches, and that's okay. And to know that you don't have to compete and compare yourself to anybody, because that's not what this life is about. This life is about being the best you that you can be, and trying to, you know, instill that into a woman, and then also doing some mirror work and some different other activities that I do when I work with my ladies to help them to begin to embrace themselves where they are.
Yeah, because you know, one thing I see a lot is women wear the wrong stuff for their body types. Like, I always joke about the belly shirts. It's like, that doesn't mean show your belly, because it's like, okay, you're not supposed to wear that, because that's for like a person this size. And it's like when I go in the store, and I was in this one store one time, and I wear a missus. They had junior misses, but they were going to tell me that that's my size. And I'm like, no, that's not my size. Those are like teenagers. She's like, no, that's your size. I said, look, I'm a missus, like a big girl missus. Like, I'm not a woman, I'm a missus. Here's a junior miss. These are the teenagers, the young kids, you know. She argued me up and down that was my size. I said, no, that's not. I said, but thank you anyways. Because, you know, she would have had me come out of there, cut there, squeeze.
But it's so amazing how differently you feel when you put on the right size clothing for your body type. So, for example, like, I had no idea for the longest time that I was wearing the wrong size bra. And a lot of women are.
Yeah, because they haven't been measured. I'm the same way. I got all different sizes. I don't know what size I wear.
But when you put on the right size, you feel so differently. And then also, a lot of women may not even realize that when you have the wrong size bra, that leads to back issues. And then you wonder why your back is hurting and you're all humped over. It's because you got the wrong size bra. So it's little things like that. Exactly. It's little things like that that help to make the difference and to help you start to feel better about yourself.
Yeah, and like with the shoes, everybody can't wear 6-inch pumps.
Right.
You see them wearing them and they keeled over.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, now you're gonna have ankle problems.
Yeah, and also a tilted uterus.
Yeah,
and back problems.
See, there
so
you go.
You got to know what you're doing to your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and you mentioned classes. Now, what kind of classes do you teach other than the fitness?
Okay, I do a lot of different classes. Of course, I am a certified sex therapist. That's the best in the world I'd rather do. We'll talk about sex.
Yes, talk about sex, baby.
That's right. So I do support groups for women. I also do individualized sex therapy counseling and education. And then I do, I have a class that's very popular. It's called Blown Away. It's all about oral pleasure on him.
John, I told you, we're the fan.
And then I do the Big O workshop, which is all about teaching women how to orgasm and, talks about the human sexual response cycle and the reproductive system. Because you'd be surprised, a lot of women don't know, even men our age and older don't even understand the reproductive system and how it works. And my theory is if you don't know what you're working with and how it works, how you going
how you gonna work with it?
Right, exactly.
Well, look at the people that said they never had an orgasm.
Right.
They're like, I don't know what that is.
Right.
And I'm like, so you've been faking it, moving through the motion? I mean, what?
That's what it's been.
Now, how long does it take you to learn how to get the big O?
You know what? Again, I always go back to it starts with self-acceptance and being comfortable with who you are. And of course, sex is mental. So once you remove a lot of those mental blocks, then it's
this
easier.
ugly picture of what it is, and it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
How come when I talk about sex, I get in trouble?
Because you're not supposed to do it at work.
Oh, then that tells us.
They didn't mind that, but they didn't like the blow-up dolls, life-size blow-up dolls.
Yeah, all that stuff in my office, I just didn't understand.
Uh-oh, look at that.
When people walked in, they didn't like to be measured with a handcuff. So
Well, that's what me. I keep a whip in the car just in case.
That's what I'm talking about. Never know.
I had handcuffs in the car one day, and this guy pulled up beside me, and I looked over. He was like handcuffed me. I was like, wait, I got the whip. I reached in the back seat. He was like, ah!
He was like, never mind.
You'd be surprised that the people run from whips, but yet they want the whip. See? Now, how do you become certified sex therapist? What kind of classes do you take? Because I might be interested.
You know what? I actually received my certification through the University of Michigan. They have a sexual health certification program, Ann Arbor.
Oh, I said not this one.
Yes, it's the Ann Arbor campus, and that's where I received my actual certification program. But prior to that, I had taken all kind of courses. I took a sex therapy course when I lived in L.A. I've done some work when I lived in D.C. around sexual health and sex therapy. So I've taken a lot of courses over the years. Because when I was 13, I told my mom I want to be a sex therapist. So.
Oh, I know that shocked her.
Yes, and my mom has always been very sex positive. So it did shock her a little bit, but she was like, she was more interested in where I learned that term.
Right.
So yeah, but she's been very supportive, her and my dad, over the years through this journey to.
That's funny because I can talk about stuff like that with my mom and dad too, but my siblings they don't. And when I mention, they be like, "Oh, I can't believe you said that," and they know I'm gonna just say whatever. I mean, it's one of them what comes up come out thing.
Okay,
That's why I said I told John I said, "Oh, we talking about it today." And now you also work with HIV and AIDS,
yes,
and sexual health as it's called. So tell me about that, because I met one other person that works in that field.
Okay, I've been in the field of HIV for over 20 years, and again, I love it. I am a certified test counselor. I do case management, and I just work with the community, trying to educate the community about the dangers of HIV and AIDS, and trying to promote safer sex as the new sexy. Because at the end of the day, you're responsible for your sexual health, so you really can't blame other people.
Right.
So I try to empower people with the knowledge and skills, that they need to have in order to keep themselves from being at risk for HIV and sexually transmitted infections.
So now, what about the people that always be like, I don't like the way condoms feel?
Okay, do you like living? Is my answer to that. Because you know what? you know, at the end of the day, it's like either is your life worth that 5 or 10 minutes of pleasure?
3 seconds of pleasure.
Exactly.
It's over.
Right. So would you rather wear a condom now and, you know, live later, or would you just rather take your chances of getting infected with HIV or syphilis or some other sexually transmitted infection that you can't cure? And so, but then I also teach people how to eroticize condom. Like, you can put a condom on with your mouth. You can add a little bit of lubrication to the condom to increase the sensation. So, I mean, there's plenty of things that you can do to eroticize
fit over your
condom.
head, so don't tell me it'll break.
That's right. Please
you just
don't.
put it over their head.
That's right. So, right.
But, you know, when they had the Pride event downtown, and they had this one booth, and the guys were giving out all these condoms and everything, and we were standing there just cracking jokes about it. I said, but you'd be surprised at how many people are so resistant. And, you know, even at my age, I just turned 60, and you gotta keep a supply.
You have to.
I don't care what they
That's
say.
right.
You can be looking good, and first thing they say is, "Oh, you don't look like you got that." What does it look like?
Exactly, and
know?
that's one of the myths that we try to clear up in the community. What does a person living with HIV or a sexually transmitted infection look like?
And plus, like you said, you can have the STIs and don't even know it.
Right.
Some just lay there dormant.
Yeah.
And as you out here poking everything, you know, you don't know.
That's right.
And people be like, I don't know, kind of. That is the most ridiculous thing. I just want to slap them all, line them up like the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Because something is going to hang on the end of that tip.
Right. You know.
And it's going to fall off. Now what?
Right. Yeah. I just simply say, do you like living? Because, you know, not wearing a condom could potentially kill you.
Exactly.
You know.
But, you know, and then they always compare to, they say, like, well, you know, Magic Johnson is that. Well, Magic, you know, did get himself in trouble. But he's got enough money where he's getting the good drugs.
Exactly.
So everybody can't afford those good drugs.
And then my thing is, even if you can afford the drugs, people don't understand. They don't see the side of life when he's not on TV.
Right.
You know, all they see is that he looks healthy.
Right.
And for the most part, with the antiretrovirals, you can live a healthier life. But do you want to live a life taking all of these medications, the side effects that come with the medications that can eventually kill you too?
Oh.
You know, they can. So the medicines are so toxic. Do you want to have that type of a lifestyle? Also, do you want to plan out your route by where the bathrooms are, because your digestive system is so messed up that you have to have a bathroom every, you know, so many hours because you know, you're living with HIV because your digestive system is just that messed up. What kind of quality of life do you want to have? So I started talking about that. Then I also started talking about the fact, do you want to be discriminated against? Is it right? No, but it happens.
It happens.
Do you want all the stigma that still comes along with HIV? Is that the kind of life that you want to live?
Yeah.
You know, because even though this epidemic has been around for 30 years, there are a lot of people who still don't get it. There are people who still think that sharing dishes, you can get HIV.
Right. Touching doorknobs.
Right. So, I mean, is that the kind of life, what kind of quality of life do you want to have when you have the choice right now to just put the condom on? Once you get HIV, you don't have the choice any longer.
Right. You can't,
you know?
It's not something aspirin will cure.
Right.
You can't get a shot for it.
Exactly. You
So
got it for
you
life.
got it forever.
That's
now
right.
what? Now you're going to sit back and wish you had that damn condom.
Right, exactly.
And it's like, to me, it's like, why do people play with their lives like that? It's like a bullet waiting in the chamber. And so many people, like, we see hookers up and down Dort Highway because I live over in that area, and the hookers be up and down the street all the time, and sometimes they're just so gross, and I see them jumping people's cars, and I'm in my car, and I'm just like going, oh, there goes another one. And the little store that I go to and get my lottery tickets, you know, they be out there in the parking lot in the car with people, and I'm just going, oh.
But you know what I will say is that the sex workers, they are some of the women who will most likely use a condom. It's interesting because we do a lot of work with the sex workers. They used to, when we were, my office was located on Saginaw Street, we used to pass out condoms to them all the time, or they would come in condoms and come in and get condoms. So they're practicing safer sex a lot of times.
Well, that's
You'd
good.
be surprised.
I just don't like seeing them hanging around on the street because they be flagging down everybody. I mean, a cop can go by and they just be like, hey.
They're just trying to make their money.
I know.
They're trying to get their hustle on.
First thing in the morning, they out there trying to get that fix on. And one girl, like a couple summers ago, we just had such an influx up there on Dort. The cops was doing stings left and right. And here come this chick in the store, pregnant, with just a T-shirt and no bottom on.
Well,
yeah, that was gross.
But you know what, though? The one thing that we have to think about, though, is It is interesting to see the sex workers on the street, but I would be more concerned with their story. How did they get there? Why are they there? Because a lot of times, again, some of these women and even men feel that they don't have any other option. They don't have any other choice, and nobody's ever told them that. You know what? You do have some choices, and here they are. These are your choices. So when they used to come into the office, I would I can't change what they're going to do. But I would try to educate them and try to figure out, where they were coming from to try to keep them safe and to let them know that they did have some other options. But a lot of times they don't feel that they do.
Yeah, because I was telling the guy at the store, I said, it would be interesting to interview one of them on the street to see what they do. And they call me Granny in the store. They like, Granny girl, you crazy. You don't want to talk to me. I said, yeah, but for real. I said, what puts a person on the street and puts their life in danger all the time? Now, there's some people that just do it because they want to. Other people do it. They get strung out on drugs and they have to. And then there's some people that might just be like, it's fun. I'm going to do it. It's like interviewing the dancers up when Nathan James was up there. I told him, I said, I want to go in there and interview a dancer. I said, but I don't want to go in there by myself. I've never been in a strip club, So they were just laughing at me. And I said, it's interesting, though. I mean, everything that I see, I can find some kind of interest in it.
Right, because everybody has a story.
Yeah, and I just want to know because, when you see it's such a stigma with dancers because, you go from the skanks to the one that's really gorgeous and make all the money and they all have a story. Some will say, I'm doing it to put myself through college. Some will say, I'm doing this to raise my child. And I don't have a problem with it either way. I just want to know what the story is. Because if you go to Cirilla's, they get 10% discount in there.
They do. Yeah,
and I was in there one day, and these girls come in, and they was looking rough. They were on the lower end. And they were like, oh, I'm a dancer. I'm going to quit pretty soon, this and that. And so the girl, I saw her ring it up. And then I said, well, how do you know for sure that they're dancers? She goes, oh, well, it's the honor system. And so they was buying these little
outfits.
Yeah, they weren't even the good outfits. They looked like beat up lingerie outfits.
No.
But I was saying because it's interesting to me. And I just want to know, what is your story?
Right. Yeah.
And then when you run into people that come in there and, maybe they're already infected, it's like, now here's another story. Because what happened to make you unsafe? Or, did you just decide one day, I'm not going to protect myself? Or, because they had an article in the paper about this guy that had AIDS, and then he became like a counselor or something like that. And I wanted to interview him so bad, and I couldn't get in contact with him because it was like such a story. And I thought, I just like that. I'm just curious all the time. I mean, it's just like I just ride down the street and see question marks, all the time. But stuff like this, when you have the chance to protect yourself and then you don't, I find it silly then. I get upset with you because it's stupid.
Right.
And because then not only putting yourself in danger, your family, and somebody's got to take care of you.
Right.
It's like the little kids in the neighborhood, the little boys that me and my neighbor always try to mentor. They do stupid stuff and we want to pull them up by their little collars. And I'm saying, well, when you guys do stupid stuff in the street, do you realize it's not just you that it affects? It goes to your family, your mother, father, goes all through your family. They don't see it like that.
Right, they don't. And that's another message that I try to get out is that although the individual is infected, it does affect the community because, like you say, okay, now the parents and the family members become caregivers because this person may be eventually too sick to take care of themselves, so they lose their job.
Right.
And when they lose their job or they go out on disability, now the employer has to bring in other employees to fill that position. And then people don't understand that sexually transmitted infections is physical, it's emotional, it's social, it's legal, it's economical. And when we start to think about it from an economical standpoint, okay, if our city is becoming infected because people won't wrap it up and protect themselves, that decreases our economic tax base because no employer is going to want to come into a city that's quote unquote sick and doesn't have healthy workers, and so that brings down our tax base.
All that money is going to go somewhere else.
Right, because the fact of the matter is that why would I as an employer bring my company to your city when workers are sick, they're not showing up for work, I have to get temporary workers to replace them, now I have to get all this insurance to try to cover these workers. I'm thinking like, this may not be a city that I want to bring my business to. So people have to start thinking differently about sex. It's not just physical, And
that's all as far as it gets.
Yeah,
to the bedroom. As far as they think. They don't think that far in advance. It's like a chess game to me. You always got to think 4 or 5 moves ahead of time.
Absolutely.
And people just tend not to do it.
That's right.
So Now, another thing you have, I always see you post, you have a B3.
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
The B3 is something new. I just started. It's an initiative to try to get women up and moving, to try to make being free, being fit, and being fabulous a lifestyle. Not just something that we do. We don't just go work out. You know, make it a lifestyle. Make it that's something that's a part of your routine. Just like you get your hair done, just like you get your nails done. Take care of your body physically. It's your temple. You only get one. It's not like you can go trade it in. You don't have a warranty on it.
I want to trade it in.
So we have to take care of what we have now. You know, so especially among women of color, particularly black women, we don't exercise that much. We do. There are some of us that do, but some of us don't. And I'm trying to get women to just start to embrace themselves and to get out there and to get moving. You don't have to go run 10 miles a day. That's not what I'm asking you to do.
I'm asking can't do it.
Right. I can't do it. You know, but I'm asking us to work within our various levels of capabilities to become fit and to be healthier so that we can live longer and live more productive and healthier lives.
Now, you know, sometimes with that, people will start it and then they stop. They just, it's not for me. I mean, how do you keep the encouragement going? Because they'll look in the mirror and be like, damn, I need to lose 50 pounds and I'm going good. I've lost 10 already. And then all of a sudden there's a setback. And then I think it becomes mental where it's like, why did I even start this? I know I'm not going to do it.
We talk about that setback. And we work through ways to remove that barrier to get them back into the fitness class. And then it's not just fitness. I mean, we do a lot of different activities. We have classes that go along with it, like different empowerment, if you will, classes. And then, you know, it's not your typical fitness class. It's not like a boot camp style. Fitness class. These classes are tailored more towards women. Although men are welcome to participate, they're tailored more towards women. So they really work on those areas that women really want to work on, like the oblique area, the butt, the abs, all of that area. And it just and then the way I teach my classes, I like to encourage women. So I'm just really an advocate and a cheerleader and a champion for women. And so we just talk about, like, why didn't you show up? You know, I'm not going to not let you show up. What happened? What's going on? Why aren't you here?
You want me to pick you up?
Do I need to pick you up? What can I do to help you meet these goals that you decided you wanted to meet? Because at the end of the day, it's all about, like I tell the ladies, I said, it's about you and what you want to do. You know, so the harder you work, the more results you're going to get. So don't cheat yourself. When I help them to take ownership of this, then it becomes something that they are more proud of, something that they can celebrate because it's something that they want to do and it's something that they own. Yeah,
and sometimes it works best if you have somebody do it with you because some people that just can't do it. They just, you know, if you have a partner that's nudging you in the side, like, you know, you're more apt to get on out there and do it. And you're like, I will pick you up.
Exactly, I'll be there. What time I need to be there?
Right. And don't make me wait.
Exactly.
Don't make me get out the car.
I'm coming to knock on the door.
I don't want to have to get out the car.
That's right.
Now, you have an event that's coming up. Yes. Tell us about that.
Oh, yeah. It's called 50 Shades of Sexy in September.
I'm blushing already.
And it's the Ultimate Girls Night Out, and it's going to be September 21st. It's in conjunction with Pole Passion Fitness, and it's going to be from 6 to 8 p.m. It's just going to be a fantastic evening. Ladies will have an opportunity to participate in many pole dancing routines and chair dancing routines.
Ooh, I like the chair dancing.
That's right. There'll also be a massage therapist there.
Is it male?
No, it's a female.
Oh, okay. Well,
there'll be
I want to see some abs. Rub it all
That's
on.
Too funny. There'll be Makeup by Serenity, so you can come and get your makeup done. Serenity Walker. Lamont M. Wright will be there taking photos, so if you want to have a photo taken on the pole or on the chair or whatever, he'll be there to take photos. Also, there will be a Pure Romance adult novelty consultant there, and then as well as Passion Intimate Apparels, which is a lingerie store on Corona Road and Corona Road and Linden Road. Yep. She will be there selling lingerie as well. So it's just like an ultimate sensual, sexual experience to help women just kind of tap into their sensuality and their sexuality.
So is women going to be getting drunk?
There will be
light
hors d'oeuvres there, and there'll probably be some champagne, but I don't encourage people to get drunk and spin on the pole.
Well, you know that's what's going to happen. Yeah, they get that inhibition thing going, they be like, oh yeah. You're going to be like, calm down.
That's
calm
right.
Down, calm down.
Yeah, you're cut off.
Yeah. You stay off the pole. You're dangerous now.
That's right. But it's going to be a great time. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Now, is there a fee for that, and what's the location of that? I mean, I know where it is,
Okay.
but where is it?
Yes, it's going to be $10, and $10 will get you access to all of the activities that are going to be going on that evening. And Pole Passion is located at 1018 Gilbert, which is in the same plaza as Encore, right off of what is that? Beecher Road. Beecher Road in
so
Gilbert.
it's not on Miller anymore.
No, she
well,
moved.
see, I don't know.
So, yeah, see,
I
so
didn't
it was good that you
lie.
answered that question.
Yeah, because I would have been on Miller Road. Go, where y'all at?
Yeah, she moved a while ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
so
she
it's
has
over
a
by Encore. 'Cause
beautiful
they've been doing a
location.
lot of stuff at Encore
Yeah,
lately.
yeah. But it's not on the same side as Encore. It's on the back side, like the little side street that goes
Yeah,
down the hill,
yeah.
Gilbert.
Oh, okay. Well, that's gonna be great. So you're gonna be posting that on Facebook.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure everybody come, because that might be something I come to see. I haven't come to live events because I'm kind of shy.
No, come on. I'm
I don't
telling
want to go in there and be
you'll
bad.
be just fine.
Yeah,
no?
I'll go in there and be bad. They be like, "Where she come from?"
Nope, you'll be just fine. I promise you. You'll enjoy yourself.
Oh my goodness.
There's gonna be something there for all the ladies.
Well, I'm gonna have to make now. Let me see what date. We're gonna write that down.
Saturday, September 21st, 6 to 8 p.m.
Oh, okay. That's the day they having the color vibe thing here too.
Well, what's the color vibe?
The color vibe is it's like a 5K run.
Oh, okay.
And they have these stations where they throw color at
I
you.
did see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now my niece, they do that in D.C. and Maryland a lot, and that's where
They
I
do.
first saw it.
Yep.
And I was like, "Ooh, I want to do something like that." As soon as I said that, color vibe popped up on Facebook.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh yeah."
There it is.
And they just did one in Davison. They did
Okay.
a little. They called it color something else. So it's like all of a sudden it's here.
Okay.
And I thought that was
That's
so
awesome.
amazing. Yeah, everybody get these colors thrown on them. It's like powdered color.
Yeah.
And by the time you're done, you all different
Oh,
shades.
yep.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to make sure I come to that. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to.
That's right.
woosah.
That's right. Come on.
So, anyways, I want to thank you for coming in today.
Yes.
I mean, I think we had such a great day. This show today was just what I expected. We got to talk a little bit about the HIV and AIDS, make everybody aware of it. Mention your book, which is very inspiring.
Thank you.
And being the sex therapist, I just think of Dr. Ruth.
That's funny.
The black version of Dr.
I'll
Ruth.
take it. I will definitely take it.
Oh,
Yes,
my
ma'am.
goodness. And then all the events that's coming up, we got to remember, watch your Facebook and have everybody come to the events. So next week, my guest will be Miss Jasmine Lassiter. Anybody have seen the Almighty Oz, that movie about the Wizard of Oz?
Oh, okay.
She was one of the extras in that, so she'll be on next week. So I want to thank you again for coming in
Thank you for
today.
having me.
And in saying that, this Flaminpit, and we're out.